Hello everyone, hope you guys had a good day so far. Today I plan on going over the lore, the speculation, and some theories that I've heard about our protagonist here. Now before I do get into the video, I kind of want to address some things. Number one, my really late upload. I did say on the community post that I was going to upload this weekend, then 2 weeks later I still haven't done it, so sorry about that guys. Things have been busy lately, but I'll try to stick to my word this time. Now, there are also some other elephants in the room that I have to address, which I'll do so at the end of the video, but for now I kind of want to focus on our protagonist here and just go about his lore. And I think a good place to start with that is by going over his personality. So, let's get to it. Throughout the game, it is made abundantly clear that our protagonist is an introvert. With our first conversation with our neighbor, he seems apprehensive of letting people in, which, fair enough, you don't want to let random strangers into your house. However, as the game progresses and you begin to explore around their house, you start to realize that this guy is way more than your average introvert, and you see him more as rude, a shut-in, a hermit, and a loner. Usually even introverts socialize with a few people in their life, but our protagonist tries to avoid contact, seeing it as a bother. Even his neighbor, who he seems to respect, he doesn't really talk to very often. In the protagonist's house, there are objects you can interact with that leave small breadcrumbs of lore for our protagonist. Most of them are proof that our guy likes to be left alone, or things that remind him of some random memories, but there are a few interactables that I think are the most interesting. Now, the first is what our protagonist says about inspecting the boxes in the closet, in which he says, "He said back then, when I'm gone, you decide if you want to open that box or not. Been deciding for 15 years and I still can't make up my mind." Another interesting piece of dialogue is inspecting the cross, in which he'll say, "Don't get why it's not in the corner. I thought that was the rule." Then again, Dad never gave a damn about the rules. It's clear our protagonist seems to have some issues with his father, however we're not told exactly what his father did to him. Some other interesting pieces of dialogue are when you click on the nightstand, in which he'll also say, "I hate sleeping by the nightstand. Too many bad memories." And also when inspecting the curtains in your room, we'll also have him say, "Nope, I don't look that way. Not anymore." Our protagonist seems to still be suffering from his trauma all the way back to his childhood, which was a long time ago. This could possibly explain why our protagonist is such a loner, still holding this trauma today and molding him into who he is now. The protagonist doesn't have many relationships due to his introverted personality, however that doesn't mean he had none. We're going to be excluding the relationships he had to most characters in the present game, as most of the dialogue just proves that he's a rude individual, but there are still some special cases like the widow and daughter who he seems to care about. There's also his neighbor that he respects, which could be an old friend, but what I'm most interested in is his relationship with his father. Every quote we hear about his father has some negative connotations to it, and while we don't know what he did to him, we can at least confirm that it was possibly mentally or physical abuse, and or neglect, giving our protagonist this loner personality type. The line about the cross could represent how his father didn't care about what was right or wrong, and most likely assumed everything he did was right and just. But then again, I have no evidence to back this up, and it's just speculation. Next up is the protagonist's wife, which was something I didn't know myself until researching for this video. In this demo patch from the devs, they confirmed that the framed photo is the protagonist's wife, which is honestly kind of surprising given our knowledge of the protagonist's antisocial nature. Judging how we don't see the wife in game, it's safe to assume that the relationship ended early, either through a breakup or by an early death. Whatever it was, the protagonist still loves her enough to keep the portrait of her near the front door. This could explain why he doesn't sleep by the nightstand, as that may have been where the wife slept at. As for the window dialogue, I have no idea why he wouldn't want to look out there. Maybe it represents the wife leaving him and driving off, or maybe something with the dad, but all we can do is speculate. But this incident of the wife leaving him could also be another factor as to why he's such a loner, as the only love of his life left him, proving to him that people will only hurt him in the end, no matter how nice. Then finally there's death, which is weird to say, but death does seem to take a liking to us, considering that she sends over a messenger in the form of the bald man and the cat lady to bring us closer to her. Even the cultist says death has taken a liking onto her house. As to why, I have no idea, and my only speculation is that death sees herself in him, as death is not just an end, but also isolation. inevitability, and stillness. Death probably likes him since he embodies her nature. He's quiet, detached, uncaring, and watches life from the sidelines. We also know our protagonist doesn't really fear death. He's neutral of it, and even accepting of it at times. And in a way, he's been flirting with death his whole life, just by refusing to live his own. Finally, we have our theories, and I want to go over some of the more popular ones and also give my own. The most popular theory I've heard of our protagonist is that he's a visitor. The reasoning behind this theory is that he has two of the symptoms, being white teeth and the fungal infections. The next is this weird dream sequence in which we experience a weird nightmare and we wake up to find everyone in the house is gone, presumably because we killed them. The reason why I don't believe in this theory is that we know visitors don't seem to attack other visitors at night, because if you only have visitors in the house, they will not kill each other. The only exception being the coke guy, in which he'll kill any human or visitor in the room with him when revealing the gaping hole in his stomach. The reason why I bring this behavior up is that in one of the endings, if you let in at least one visitor in the house, they'll kill you in the basement, which goes against the rules we know. Also, despite our character showing symptoms, we know that a few symptoms aren't enough to make us a visitor, and as far as we know, our character doesn't kill anyone when we're asleep, as people only begin to die when we let a visitor in the house. So, my theory for our protagonist was that he was a troubled individual who has sustained a lot of mental and possibly physical trauma from his dad. When he passed away, he thought he finally escaped the worst of it and began opening up to people, perhaps befriending the neighbor, and eventually meeting his wife. However, when she left him, either from breakup or from death, that was the final nail in the coffin, turning him into a complete shut-in, refusing to talk to anyone, knowing that in the end, he'll just get hurt again if he lets people in his heart. Which is funny considering what the protagonist is forced to do in the game. And that's all I really had to say about our protagonist here. Now, I do have to say this, that everything I said here is for the most part not confirmed, so please take that in mind. And also, if I missed out on some things, which I probably did, please let me know down in the comments. But now that we're at the end of the video, I do want to cover some of the things that I said I was going to cover. Number one is the amount of support you guys have shown me. It is... I can't even describe it and put it into words. I never would have thought that my video would have gotten to that many people. I was expecting maybe like 20, maybe 50 views at most, but you guys have blown my expectations away and then some. So for that, thank you guys so much, and I'm so sorry that this video came out so late. School has just been really hard on me, so again, that's no excuse. I'm sorry for that, guys. But number two, I also have to give thanks to a certain YouTuber that goes by the name Windy31, according to you guys, and watching his video of him reacting to me, it was such a weird feeling. I never expected this video to reach anyone, let alone a popular YouTuber like him, and that just blows my mind away. So I just have to give thanks to him, because honestly, I don't think half of my views would be like here if it weren't for him. So thank you, man. I don't even know if he's gonna watch this, honestly, but whether you guys are from Russia, whether you guys are from China, the US, Japan, Iceland, Philippines, wherever you guys are, thank you so much for showing your support to my channel and to me. I'll definitely try to be more consistent, but no promises there because I'm horrible at keeping promises. But that's all I really had to say. Thank you guys so much, and see you in the next one.